Good evening. Welcome to today's live webinar. How are you doing? I hope you are really well. There's so much going on in the world at the moment, but I really hope that you and your families are safe, that you're keeping well, that you're looking after your minds, that you're looking after your body, your emotions. It's so very important. So I really hope that you're well. If you are joining us tonight, please comment in the chat box. We would love to know where you're watching us from. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes as we usually do. So let me know if you can hear me. I have got some music playing as we usually do, just to get us relaxed, really. This is just going to be a very informal chat where we get to help you with your business plan. So comment in the chat box, let us know where you're watching from, and we are just waiting for some others to log on today. Good evening, Natasha. Great to see you again. How are you? How is everything going? Just wait a couple more minutes. It is such a beautiful day here in Milton Keynes, anyway. So wherever you're watching from, I hope that it is a sunny and beautiful day where you are as well. It just makes you feel that extra goodness, you know? Very busy, but blessed. Well, I hope it's good busy, because if it's good busy, we can't complain. Okay, so we will just give it maybe another minute or so. So if you want to get yourself a drink, now is the perfect time to go and do that while we just give it one more minute, just others to log on. Can you hear this song, by the way? I played this song a couple of weeks ago, and it's just such a feel-good gospel song. So I've gone back to it today, and hopefully you can hear it and sing along with me. Good busy. Yes, that's what we like to hear, Natasha. Okay, so we are going to make start. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening. We are talking about business plans today. Oh, you can't hear the song? Oh, so I was just dancing by myself. Okay, well, it was Jonathan McReynolds' I'm Not Lucky, I'm Loved, one of my favorite songs at the moment. It's just such a feel good song. Absolutely love it. Um, so, yeah, we are talking about business plans today. And this is a subject that I really love because I find that often when I'm speaking to my clients, people they have an idea that they just want to start a business one day. Sometimes they don't have a business idea. And we did speak about that last week about business ideas. But the next step is then I say, well, do you have a plan? Do you know how you are going to launch your business, how you are going to market your business? And they just have no clue. So I really love the topic of business plans because I've noticed that once my clients get their business plan together, it's almost like the pieces of the puzzle just fall into place and they finally feel ready to take that next step. So this is one of my favorite topics, and we are going to talk through the business plan that we have created. So one of the things I often say is back in the day, business plans were about 30, 40, 50 pages long sometimes. Nowadays, it doesn't need to be that long. You just really want to get to the main points that you need to cover. And if you're just starting out, there is absolutely no need for an everlasting business plan. You just need to focus on the main points. And so the business plan that we have created, I will put a link in the description of this video. So if you're watching the replay, you can click on that link and download our free business plan. But we've created this covering 6 points. And these are the 6 points that we believe are the most important, particularly if you're just starting out. So that's what we'll be talking through today. I would absolutely love if this could be an interactive session. So if you could just comment in the chat box anything that you maybe have on your business plan, or if you haven't done a business plan, any questions that you might have, and hopefully we'll be able to answer those live for you. Because as I'm sitting here, my goal, my purpose, my mission on this glorious sunny Sunday is to help you with your business plan. So if you already have a business plan, or if you have, if you already have a business plan, or if you haven't yet started a business plan and you know that you need to take that step, if you've got any questions, this is the perfect opportunity to ask them in the chat box, and I'll pick them up as we go through. Okay, so let me just have a look here. Okay, wonderful. So we're going to be covering 6 points, as I mentioned, and I have written them down just so that I can make sure that I am giving you the best value while we're here this evening. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the business plan overview. Now, for those of you who joined us last week, I will be catching up with you in just a moment to find out whether or not you did the tasks that I set you last week. Don't be shy, don't be embarrassed. I know sometimes life doesn't go the way that we plan it sometimes. So if you didn't get a chance to do it, it's okay. I'm not going to freak out. I mean, I'm on the other side of the camera, so, you know. But yeah, if you didn't manage to do them, it's absolutely fine. But if you did, I would love to hear from you. Last week, we heard how Natasha took 2 big steps in her business. I believe it was that she bought her domain name, and she also launched a new line within her product range, which is absolutely amazing. So if you did take 2 steps last week, please comment in the chat box so that we can celebrate with you and so that we can walk on this journey with you, because that's what this is all about. We are a community celebrating and supporting each other. Okay, so looking at the overview. So on our business plan, we have segmented it into 6 sections. The first one covers the overview, and this is where you really define what your business is all about. So in this section, you want to identify what problem you're solving. So I feel like I've said this in all of the live videos that we've done so far, and that is, if you are not solving a problem, you do not have a successful business. No one is going to just come along and give you some money because they don't have anything else to do. People spend money to solve a problem. So in this overview section, you want to identify what problem you're solving. In this section also, you want to identify your business name. You want to identify your legal business structure as well. So are you starting as a sole trader? Are you starting a limited company? Is it a partnership? If you're not watching this from the UK, whichever country you're based in, I'm sure there's different legal structures there as well. So you just want to identify what your legal structure is going to be. The other thing that you want to look at is a brief description of what your business does. So bear with me just one moment. Okay, so you want to identify what your business actually does. So in this section, you want to write down a description of what that is. Depending on what your business is, what your business does might not be just one thing. So for an example, what I do with High Heels and Hustle, it's not just one thing. I have strategy calls that I do for people who have never started a business before. I have strategy calls for people who have already started a business and they need that one-to-one mentorship to keep them on track and to take their business to the next level. Another side of what I do is marketing. So we help people with social media marketing through my social media agency, LB Media. So what my business does is not just one thing. There's different segments to my business. So when you're writing down what your business does, try to think of everything that your business does, even if it's not something that you're doing right now. So for me, with High Heels and Hustle, there's so much that I have planned for this community that I'm not yet doing, but it's on my business plan as something that my business does, because it's something that I intend to do in the future. So consider the things that you may not be doing yet, but you want to do in the future. They should go in the overview and the section where you're identifying what problem you're solving. Okay, then we want to look at the message as well. So what problem are you solving? And again, this is something that I literally say every session, just because it is crucially important that you identify the problem that your business is solving. You also want to look at what results your business provides and how. So by that, what we mean is whatever your business is, what result does your customer get? So when you're thinking of your business plan, try to think of it from the customer's point of view, because whatever business you have, whether you are selling a product, whether you are selling a service, whatever you're doing, it's all about your customer. You're not creating your business for you, you're creating your business for your customer. So all of these things that you're filling in on your business plan, think of it with the customer in mind. The customer should always be your focal point. So when you're thinking about what your business does, you want to think about what results your business is going to deliver. So, for example, one of my clients wants to set up a podcast. So in that, I'm asking her, what results does your podcast deliver to your customers? So is it that they will leave feeling empowered? Is it that they will leave feeling uplifted? Is it something that's going to encourage them? You know, if you have a business where you sell cakes, for example, what result are you going to deliver? Are you doing cakes that you make in batches and people buy them in batches? Or are you doing cakes that are specific for an occasion, specific for a type of event? So do you do wedding cakes only? So you want to look at what results are you delivering and how you're delivering those results. So that's something that's really, really important, and make sure that you identify that within the message section. You also want to look at who your business serves. So we spoke about this a lot in last week's video. If you missed that video, I would definitely recommend that you go back and watch that video. It was where we were talking about business ideas. So you want to look at who your business is serving. Who is your target audience? This is one of the most important things to identify when you're starting a business, and it's all about identifying your niche. So once you can identify who your business is serving, that will steer all of your decisions. Remember, I said your customer should always be the focal point of the decisions that you make within your business. It's not about you. It's your business, but you are there to serve a community of people. You are there to serve a group of people, and that's how you should always go through your business, putting the customer first. It's that cliche saying, putting the customer first, but it is so true. So when you're looking at your target market, you want to consider things like, where do they live? How old are they? Are you serving women only? Are you serving children only? Are you serving the elderly? Are you serving people within a certain demographic within society? Are you serving people who have a specific occupation? There's so many different things that you need to consider, but the more targeted that you can make this, the easier it will be to run your business. So for me, with High Heels and Hustle, predominantly what we do is aimed at women. It's a women empowerment community. We do have a few men who follow our Instagram page and our Facebook page, but predominantly the content we put out is all about empowering women. So I've niched that down to that target market. And I think I mentioned in the video last week, or maybe it was on the video on my YouTube channel, where I spoke about niches. I actually, when I was doing High Heels and Hustle, I drew 2 pictures of 2 different women, and I drew lines from each of these women, and I asked some questions about these women, and I answered them on this piece of paper. So every time I get to a point where I want to put something out, some content out, I go back to these 2 women and I look at the questions that I answered about these women. I niched it down to the point of, where do these women live? How old are they? What has been their history? Now, bearing in mind, my business is about helping women to either set up their business for the first time, or if they already have a business, it's to grow their business. So I wanted to know about this woman's history, you know, and I've been able to literally draw out my audience. So when I look at that, I know who I'm serving. I know the content that I should be putting out based on the background and the future that I've identified for these women in my target market. So you want to niche down so much that you know specifically, if I come on this live video and I say, for example, Natasha, who is your target market? You should be able to answer me just like that. You shouldn't be sitting thinking, everybody. It's never everybody. And this is one of the things that I get as well. People say things like, but if I niche down and if I have a target market, what about all the millions of people in the world who I'm cutting off? You may well be cutting those people off, but if your product or your service is not designed with those people in mind, they are not your customers anyway. So in particular, when we get into marketing, you want to make sure that when you're spending money for marketing, you are marketing to the right audience. So you've got to niche down, because we could put out an advert to everybody in the world. You know, Facebook allows you to do that. But is everybody in the world really interested in what you're doing? I know everybody in the world is not interested in what I'm doing because it's aimed at women. So that already cuts off the men in the world. So these are the types of things that you want to think about because it helps with all of the decisions that you'll make in the future. And the last section within that you want to think about within your business message is what makes you different from your competitors. If you were here last week, I really, really honed in on this point. Unique selling points. What are your unique selling points? And me personally, I would encourage you to identify your unique selling points as a person and your unique selling points as from your business perspective. Because I spoke last week about your unique selling point as a person could be your culture. I gave the example last week of somebody starting up a home delivery service where they're delivering food and they may say, I'm delivering Caribbean food. But if they have no connection to the Caribbean, they have no history to the Caribbean, there's that authenticity that will be lacking versus somebody who has that Caribbean background. That authenticity will be there. It could be a recipe that has been in the family for 100 years. Whatever it is, that is one of the unique selling points of that person. So you want to identify what makes you stand out from your competitors. And despite what your business is going to be, it may not be something that I can walk into a shop and pick up, but I always like to think of it like that. If my business was on a shop shelf and there was my competitors next to mine on the shelf, what would make somebody pick my product over my competitor's product? You want to make sure that you have that competitive edge, that you will be able to get the customers from your competitor to come and try your brand. So that's it for the overview and the message section. Do you have any comments so far? Please comment in the chat box as we go along. I'm more than happy to answer any direct questions or anything that you might want to say. So I'll just give you a minute because I know that this is slightly delayed, I think. And anybody else that's joined us, please feel free to comment and let us know where you're watching from. We always love to know where our viewers are watching us from. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to cover is marketing. Now, this is my baby. This is something that I studied. So I absolutely love marketing because it's so powerful. There's a saying that says you can have a terrible product, but if it's marketed properly, it will sell. And that is the power in marketing. Good evening. Oh, good evening, Sarah. Welcome from Botswana. Lovely to have you. Comment below. Is this your first time here, Sarah? I don't remember seeing you with us before. So just comment below. Let us know, do you already have a business or are you interested in starting a business? Okay, so with marketing, as I said, this is one of my favorite topics because marketing is so powerful. It really does not matter what you're selling, what product or service you're selling, as long as you market it properly, it will do the job. So when you're looking at the marketing section of your business plan, you want to think about your target market. So you want to think of demographics and psychographics. Now, demographics are things like age, gender, occupation, some of the things that I spoke about earlier. Psychographics are more about hobbies and interests and lifestyle. So these are some of the things that you really, really want to think about because with marketing, you can be very, very specific with the target that you're reaching out to. And this is why identifying your target market is absolutely crucial. You can even target people who earn within a certain income bracket. That is how specific you can get, but you cannot do that if you haven't already identified your target market. So make sure that you focus on the demographics and psychographics of your target audience so that when you come to marketing, you know exactly what you're doing. You also want to look at where you can find your target market. Where are they hanging out? When I launched my Facebook group, my Facebook page, High Heels and Hustle, I knew that of the millions of people on Facebook, there were bound to be some people that were interested in what I was offering. And I was right, because we now have over 600 women who are a part of our Facebook page. So I identified where are these women hanging out, and I took my business to that platform where they were hanging out. Now, of course, not everybody is on Facebook, so you don't have to rely on Facebook only. There's so many other ways that you can reach people. And one of the ways that I'm reaching my target audience is through YouTube, on this YouTube channel tonight. So you've got to think about where are they hanging out? Where can you find your target market? If you don't have an online service, you may be able to reach your target market within your local community. Your target market could be your local church. So you just want to identify where are they? so that you can market to them and deliver and promote your service or your product to them. Bear with me just a moment. I'm reading the comments as we go along. So, hi, good evening. I'm watching from the UK. Good evening, Gillette. Lovely to have you. Sarah, have been following you from the beginning. Latoya, want to start a business. Oh, thank you so much, Sarah, for following us. We absolutely love to hear that. And you want to start a business. Okay, that's amazing. So Sarah, if this is the first time that you're joining us, we did have a session last week where we spoke about business ideas. So if you haven't watched that video, I'd really recommend that you go back and watch that video just to give you some idea of what to consider and what to do when you're thinking of your business idea. And then today's video is that next step. So stick with us because this will definitely help you, this video today. But I would love for you to go back and watch the video where we spoke about business ideas as well. Okay, so we spoke about finding out where your customers are hanging out so that you can bring your service to them. I also want you to think about your visibility strategy. Now, this is also known as brand awareness. So I'll use what I'm doing as an example. For my brand awareness and my visibility strategy, I put myself on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This is how I make my brand visible. So I am reaching out to my target audience is very specific, but they're not all in one place and they're not all in one place at the same time. So for example, on our Facebook page, as I said, we have over 600 women. On Instagram, it's a new page, but we have over 200 women there. So we are promoting our brand in different places. And sometimes we don't post the same thing on Facebook that we do on Instagram. So we've spent time identifying the trends with our different audiences, what people react to, what people like, so that we know what we need to put out and where we need to put it. So when we're talking about brand awareness, you cannot start a business and just expect people to know it's there. That it just doesn't happen that way. You've got to put some work in to promote your brand. So if I said to you, the big yellow M, immediately what do you think of? McDonald's. Okay, so it's things like that. McDonald's have built themselves up to a point where their brand awareness is so on point so that if you are driving down the motorway and you see the big yellow M, you don't even need to see the tiny thing underneath that says McDonald's. You just need to see that M and you know straight away there's a McDonald's coming up. So it's that type of thing. You want to have that awareness of your brand that people can recognize straight away. Oh, there goes High Heels and Hustle. I recognize that logo. I recognize that particular post. So if you are on Instagram, you may notice that there are some people on Instagram, all of their posts look the same. They have built that into their brand awareness. And the reason for that is that every time you see a post from them, you don't even need to look to see who posted it. Immediately, you will know that's that particular brand. That's that particular brand because they've built that brand awareness through how they promote their brand and their business. Okay, you also want to think of your lead generation strategy. Again, I really hope that you are seeing that a lot of this really does tie in hand. You need a lead generation strategy because if you have a business and you don't have any leads, you won't have any customers, so you don't have a business, basically. So you want to look at your lead generation strategy. How are you going to attract your customers? If you work in an office environment within a sales department, perhaps, some businesses will have a sales department that is specifically targeted at lead generation because it's so important. You cannot solely rely on all of your customers being in one place, as I said before. So you want to also find ways of reaching out to your customers, and that's called lead generation. You want to pitch to these people in a way, and you might feel like, oh, I'm not a salesy person. I don't feel like I'm a salesy person, to be honest with you, but there are so many different ways of generating leads. Email marketing is a very powerful tool, and that's something that we use within LB Media because email marketing is extremely powerful. And one of the things I will say is I do talk a lot about social media, but please don't get stuck on social media. There was a time last year when social media shut down. There was YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. There was a glitch, something happened, and they shut down. If all of your customers are only on Facebook, only on Instagram or YouTube, and they shut down or they close down your account, how do you then reach your customers? And put yourself in a position where you spent 5 years of building up this audience on Facebook, for example, and one day something happens and Facebook just deletes your Facebook group, deletes your Facebook page, your business page. How are you going to reach your customers? So email marketing is something that is so very important, and that's something that I will be covering in the future, not within Just Do It June, because we do have the sessions laid out. Next week we're talking about mindset, and the following week we're talking about launching your business or growing your business. But email marketing is something that I'm definitely going to pick up in the future because it's so important. And when you're starting your business, I don't want you to get stuck on focusing only on social media. There is a bigger world out there. And as I said last week, we're on YouTube because not everybody has a Facebook account or an Instagram account. So as well as your lead generation strategy, you also want to look at your conversion strategy. So once you've pitched to these potential customers, you now have the leads, then what happens? So you want to map out that journey from the point where you're pitching to your potential customers to the point where they actually convert and they become your customer. So that's something that's very important to identify and to note down in the marketing strategy of the business plan. So now we're moving on to products. And if you already have a product that you're selling, I would love for you to comment in the chat box just to let us know what you're selling. You know, at the end of the day, as I said in last week's video and the video before, this is a community. There's no jealousy. There's no thinking, oh, so-and-so is going to steal my idea. We are growing together. We are building together. So comment, let us know what your product is. You never know who's watching, who may actually become one of your customers. But when you're thinking about your products, I always advise to launch your business with one main product. Okay, so the reason that I say that is because you almost want to use that as a test. And once you put that out to the market, you want to get that feedback so that you can then develop your next product. Sometimes, unfortunately, you develop a product and when you put it out there, it doesn't do as well as you thought it would. And you have to come back to the drawing board. You have to make some changes, whatever those changes may be, and then put it out again. And you may find more, you may find success the second time that you launch it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you want to launch with one primary product first so that you can, so that your customers have something to identify you by. And it also helps you to get your target audience interested in what you're doing and to get their inputs. Now, remember I said earlier in this video, focus on your target market. Everything you do in your business is not about you, it's about your customers. It's about your client base. So once you can get your customers enjoying your primary products, they can give you feedback. So Natasha's commented that she makes homemade chocolates. So Natasha, maybe you made homemade chocolates with orange flavor inside. A customer might say to you, oh, I really love those homemade chocolates, Natasha, but could you do one that has mint inside? So your customers are now telling you what they want, and that gives you the opportunity to now create something based on what your customers are interested in. On top of that, I don't know about you, but when I see a brand reaching out and asking for feedback, it lets me know that that brand doesn't just care about making money. That brand cares about me as a customer. That brand cares about what I think about their products. So that's another thing that's really important. You want your customers to feel like they are a part of what you're doing. And if I were to give a personal example, one of the ways that I do that with High Heels and Hustle is on our social media pages, I ask questions. So I ask people, do you have a business? I did that earlier in today's video. So I am making you understand that you are a part of what I'm doing. I care about where you are in your business journey and how I can best serve you on your business journey. So that's why I usually recommend launching with one product. So Natasha's commented, and last week also mentioned that she's launched a new product within her range, which again is just that next step after you've launched with a primary product. So the next step in the business plan is to identify additional products. Now, this is on the business plan, and you may think, but Latoya, you just told me to launch with one product. Yes, but we're thinking about the future. Your business plan is, as it says, it's a plan. It's not only about what's happening right here and right now. So if you're launching with one product, that's great, but you want to think down the line. You want to think, okay, these are the things that I would like to do. And those things may change, as I said, as you get customer feedback, and the more you do it, the more ideas will come to you. But you want to already have a couple of ideas about additional products. Otherwise, your business will become stagnant. And we have seen certain brands who just fizzled out because they could not keep up with the trends. One of the brands that particularly comes to mind is Nokia. Like 20 years ago, Everybody had a Nokia phone. If you didn't have a Nokia phone, you were not in the in crowd. Okay. Nowadays, who's talking about Nokia? They just did not keep up with the market trends. We then had BlackBerry come out. BlackBerry was the thing that everybody wanted to have a BlackBerry. Now we've got smartphones from Samsung and other Android providers, and we've got iPhones. Nobody really talks. I haven't heard anybody mention Nokia for years. They just did not keep up with the trends. So you want to make sure that you're always thinking ahead. You're always thinking, how can I grow? How can I expand my business? And this is one of the reasons that I say we're here to help people who don't have a business and people who already have a business to grow their business and take it to that next level, because it's so important that you keep up with the trends, that you keep your customers interested, and that you continue to evolve and change with the times so that you will not phase out like some of the brands that we have seen in the past. Within the product category, you also want to identify different products for different target markets. Now, this goes back to target markets, okay? So again, I'm really hoping that you can see how much all of these things really do tie into each other. So for example, if you are creating a product that is suitable, you have one product range that is suitable for men, you have another product range that's suitable for children, you have another product range that's suitable for women, okay? Your target market needs to be specific for each of those groups. And so you may launch one product for the men category, one product for the women category, but you need to write these things down so that the lines don't become blurred. Because what you may then find is that when you're doing your marketing, you end up marketing a product that you designed for men to men and boys, but actually the original thought was that the product was just supposed to be for men. But because you get quite lazy sometimes, maybe you just launch out to whoever wants to take it, but that's not the best way to maximize your marketing. So identify if you have different products for different target markets. I'll use the cake industry as an example. So again, different markets. So if you're making cakes, are you making cakes for children? So do they have designs and icing that may be suitable for children? So they could have I mean, I don't have children, so I'm just trying to think of a cartoon, for example. So it could have Toy Story on it. So you could do something within that type of range, Marvel, for example. But then maybe you also do wedding cakes. That's a completely different target market. You're not going to promote your wedding cake to parents who are looking for a birthday cake for their 5-year-old. So you want to identify your different products and who they are suited to. And that's something that I would recommend that you put down on your business plan from the beginning. So Natasha says, feedback is really important so you can understand what your potential customer wants. This has helped me. Absolutely. So there you go. You really want to understand what your customer wants so that you can deliver that. Because as I said at the beginning of this video, if you are not solving a problem, you do not have a successful business. And that is a classic example. If you don't know what your customers want, you can't deliver what they want. And guess what? They'll go to somebody else who is delivering what they want, and we don't want that. Okay, so thank you very much for that input, Natasha. And so that was the product section. Now we're moving on to production and delivery. Now you want to identify your production system. When you're writing this down, make sure you include estimated costs. Okay, so last week I gave you some business ideas that don't need any money to set up, but some of them did require some financial investment. So you want to identify how much these things are going to cost, because budgeting in business is very important. You don't want to launch your business and then realize, I have no money to keep this going. That's not going to help your brand, and it's definitely not going to create a sustainable business. So I would definitely say consider your production system. Now, one of the things I spoke about last week is when you create a business that is print on demand. So me, for example, I spoke about my clothing line, which is a print on demand service. So when I'm looking at my production system for my print on demand service, I have a warehouse that they deal with all of that. There's no financial cost to me. But for example, if you're somebody that's making cakes or something, you will have to invest in the different instruments and different things that you need in order to deliver your cakes to your customers. So that is a production cost that you need to factor in, and it's a production system that you need to factor in. So if you need to go out and purchase things so that you can make your business run, then you want to include that in this section. Similar to production system is your delivery system. How are people going to receive what you are offering? So if I use myself as an example, in the description of this video, I will put the link to our business plan. That's a digital product. We could sell this business plan, but we give this away for free. So it's a digital product and it's delivered digitally. It's delivered online. However, my clothing line is not a digital product. It's a physical product. So that's delivered to my customers through the post. Okay, so you want to identify how you're delivering your products to your customers and note that down on your business plan. And then the sixth and final point is goals. I love this one. So every week I have been giving you tasks of things that I want you to do every week. And as I mentioned in last week's video, the reason that we do this is because so many people have a dream. So many people have aspirations and visions of being a business owner one day, of creating some legacy within their business. And legacy is very important to me. But they don't have a plan. They never take steps towards actually making those goals and dreams a reality. So you find that people dream about these things for 20 years and never actually take one step towards making it happen. So the reason that we set you these weekly tasks is because we want to see you taking steps every week. And comment in the chat box if you have been taking these steps, because what I'm hoping and believing is that every week when you take those steps towards achieving your goals and dreams, you're beginning to realize, I can actually do this. One day I will have my business where I want it to be. And it's that saying, like I said last week, how do you eat an elephant? One small bite at a time. So that's the reason that we do that. And unbeknown to you, whether you realized it or not, we have been setting goals for you by giving you those tasks every week, and you've actually been doing them. Hopefully you've been doing them. So already we're doing short-term goals. And this is one of the things that I want you to bear in mind, that you need to have long-term goals, mid-term goals, and short-term goals. And as we go through this journey throughout Just Do It June, we'll keep setting you these tasks because we want you to take those steps until you finally get to that place where you launch your dream business or you grow the business that you currently have. So within the goals section, we encourage people to set 6-month goals, 1-year goals, and 5-year goals. Of course, if you want to do variations in between, you absolutely can do, but we usually recommend starting with 6-month goals, 1-year goals, and 5-year goals. And you want to factor in revenue, profits, sales, the impact that you want your business to have within this time. This is so, so important. And I mentioned earlier an example of one of my clients who wants to launch a podcast, and I'm speaking to her about impact. What impact is your podcast going to have on your listeners? Because particularly with a podcast, impact is so very important. Do you want depending on what your podcast is going to be, you can have a podcast about business. So what I'm doing tonight, I could be doing this in a podcast format, in which case I would want my audience to leave feeling empowered to go and start their businesses. If your podcast is about encouragement and motivation, you want your listeners to leave feeling empowered, feeling strengthened, believing in themselves. Whatever it is that you're covering, impact is so, so crucially important. Then you want to look at lessons learned. Again, this is so important. So as you go through your business journey, keep coming back to your business plan. Keep writing down the lessons that you've learned. I spoke to you about the mistakes that I've made along my business journey. I made a lot of mistakes in my first few years of business. And that's part of why I do what I do, because if I can help you to avoid some of the mistakes that I made, it will help you to progress a lot quicker. So one of the mistakes I made in my first business is I did not write a business plan. And ironically, I'm sitting here talking to you about business plans. Why? Because when I started my next business and I did a business plan, it was so much easier. So I know the power in a business plan, but that's one of the mistakes that I made. So I was just kind of trying to feel my way through this whole business journey. And I mean, it wasn't great. I still have the business, but I had to go back to the drawing board and do the business plan later on. So this is why I recommend doing your business plan as early as possible so that you have that roadmap. You know, I often say to people, if you are on a journey to a destination and you've got no idea how to get there and you have no GPS, you will just be wandering around like the children of Israel. You will have no idea where you're going, how to get there, and the shortest route to get there. Your business plan is that GPS for your business, okay? So you want to come back to your business plan and write down the lessons that you learned in the first 6 months, the lessons that you learned in the first 12 months, the lessons that you've learned as you go through, so that you can avoid making those mistakes again, and you can learn from the lessons as you go through your business journey. And the final thing that I would recommend putting in the goals section is development. None of us are perfect. I'm sat here on the other side of the screen. I'm not perfect. I'm learning as I'm growing. I'm developing as I'm going. I did my very first YouTube live video on the 31st of May, 2020. Okay, so I'm developing as I'm going. But guess what? I'm doing it. Okay, and that's where I want you to get to. It doesn't have to be perfect for you to get started. You just need to get started. And as you go through your journey, you'll learn the lessons and you will develop. I promise you will develop. I'm speaking to my clients and I'm already seeing the development just in a couple of weeks. And to me, that is what this is all about. That's what I get so passionate about, seeing that development to the point where you eventually launch that dream business and you grow that dream business into something amazing that will give you time freedom, financial freedom, and that will help you to live out your goals and your dreams. So they're the things that we would recommend putting in the goals section. So I'm just going to recap over the 6 points on the business plan. If you do have any questions for me, put them in the chat box. I will be coming to answer those questions shortly. So we spoke about the 6 points of the business plan. The first one is to have an overview and identify what problem your business is solving. The second point is your business message. This is so crucially important. The third point is your business marketing. The fourth point is the products that you'll be serving, the products that you'll be delivering. And these can be digital products, these can be physical products, whatever your product is or your service, because, for example, what I'm doing now is not a physical product, it's a service that I'm offering. So you want to think about products and services. And the fifth point is production and delivery. And the sixth point is goals. So these are the 6 points that we recommend to have in your business plan. And I'd be really interested to know, do any of you have a business plan already? Have any of these tips helped you in your business journey? Have you learned anything this evening? Because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm sat here because my aim and my goal is to help you. So hopefully you found these tips useful. But if you already have a business plan, I'd love to hear from you some of the things that you have on your business plan, or some of the things that maybe you've learned this evening from what I've shared that you will now implement and update on your business plan. So we've got here, Gillette, I took 2 steps last week. Amazing. I downloaded an app and bought new equipment for my business. That's exactly what we're talking about. So congratulations, Gillette, whatever you purchased for your business. I really hope that it serves your business well. And that these 2 steps that we keep setting every week is making you realize I can do this. I just need to invest in myself. And for me, when I came into 2020, and we're probably going slightly off topic, but we're just talking woman to woman. When I came into 2020, I decided to do a vision board. I don't know if you've ever done a vision board before. I had never done one, and I just felt the need to do a vision board this year. And as I look at my vision board, it is amazing. Even in the midst of lockdown, the things that I have been able to achieve from my vision board, I feel like 2020 is a very different year for me. It's a year when I came into this year making decisions about the things that I was going to do. And one of the things that I put on my vision board is that I was going to invest in myself this year. I was going to take courses if I needed to. I was intending to attend seminars and conferences. Of course, lockdown kind of ruined that. But, you know, I've been doing some conferences and things online as well. So one of my goals for 2020 was to invest in myself. And as I do that, I am literally seeing the rewards and reaping the benefits of doing that. So when I'm setting you these goals, I want you to start investing in yourself. And sometimes investing in yourself is also investing in your business. So Gillette has said that she bought some equipment for her business. Yes, it may not have been money spent on you personally, but it's money that you're investing in your business to take your business to where you want it to get to. It's a part of your goals and dreams. So that's really, really, really amazing. Well done and congratulations to you. So if there are no more questions, I am going to get on with setting you this week's 2 tasks. Natasha, did you do last week's 2 tasks actually? Sorry to put you on the spot, but last week I know that you did take 2 amazing steps in your business journey. So I just wanted to know, did you manage to do any steps last week? If you haven't, you know, as I said, life happens sometimes. It's absolutely fine if you didn't. It is so true. Take the step because there isn't a perfect time to start. That's it, girl. There is never the perfect time to start right here, right now. That will always be the perfect time to start. I can't predict what next month is going to have in store. You want to get started as quickly as possible. Don't delay making your goals and dreams a reality, waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. And we spoke last week that some of the things that you may want to do may require financial investment. I gave an example of somebody who wants to set up a nursery. You're going to have to spend some money to set up the nursery, okay? But you can start teaching online. You can start creating resources. I spoke today about me creating free downloadable PDFs that people can have to help them on their business journey. You could start by doing that, creating resources for parents to help their children until you get to that point where you've got the financial investment to start your nursery. So, financial investment, please do not let money stop you from starting a business. I spoke to you about how I have started 4 businesses with no money. So, money is not something that stops you from starting a business. It may delay you from starting your dream business. But as I said, every business that you do, even if it's not your dream business, you will learn so many lessons, you will grow and develop so that by the time you get to that big dream business, you will know what you need to do and you will have learned and grown as a person to be able to take your business to the next height. Natasha, it is okay. I have purchased a new fridge and contacted the NHS to download some chocolates. The fridge is for the chocolates. Do you know what? I think that is absolutely amazing. Again, that is such a huge investment in your business. When you're dealing with food products, you want to make sure that you are doing things in a hygiene friendly way. You want to make sure that you have the space that you need to safely store those products. So the fact that you've gone out and purchased a new fridge, that is something that is really, really worth celebrating. And I was saying to one of my clients yesterday, you know, you may not feel, I may give you a task of things to do. If I'm mentoring you, I will give you things that you need to do. But you may not be able to get through all of those things. And that's not to say every week that I'll be lenient to be like, okay, but you know, because mentoring, I'm not your, you know, mentoring is not about being friends necessarily. It's about drawing the best out of you. And sometimes tough love has to be the way. But I was speaking to this particular client about celebrating every step. Don't wait until you open that big bakery to start celebrating. Celebrate the fact that you delivered your first product. Celebrate the fact that you set up your Facebook page. Celebrate the fact that you bought some new equipment for your business. Celebrate the fact you bought a new fridge. You've created a new PDF for people to download. Celebrate every step of the journey, because I tell you what, there are millions of people around this world with a dream to start a business and they will never do it. The fact that you are taking steps, whether they're small steps, big steps, medium steps, it doesn't matter. You're taking steps, and that is something that's worth celebrating. So, for all of you watching this video, this is a step that you're also taking. You've come here today to understand about business plans. That's a step that you have taken in investing in yourself. And I'm so proud of all of you and so grateful to be able to be here and share this amazing journey with you all. Natasha says, important to set yourself realistic goals. Yes, realistic goals, please. Because if your goals are not realistic, what will happen is you'll just get disappointed. So don't be too hard on yourself. Set realistic goals so that you can actually achieve these goals in the time that you've set them to, the time that you've set to achieve them. And celebrate each milestone. Absolutely. Celebrate each milestone. Even if you don't feel like it's a big thing, it doesn't matter. The fact that you've taken a step is definitely something that's worth celebrating. So thank you so very much. If there are any more questions, please put them in the chat box before we log off this evening. But I really hope that you found this useful. And I am about to set to you your tasks for this coming week. So next week, we are looking at mindset, and I'm really, really looking forward to that session, because with what I do, I find that a lot of people, the reason that they've only had a dream of a business for 20 years is mindset. They don't actually believe that they can do it. And I spoke to one of my clients this week who said that from our last mentoring session, she came out of that session feeling like, I don't know if I can do this, because there's so much that needs to be done with that particular business that she is setting up. And so it was a bit overwhelming for her. But she said once she started to do the first thing, she realized I can actually do this. And that's what this is all about. So next week, we're looking at mindset and ways that you can challenge negative mindsets. Maybe somebody told you, you think you could start a business? You know, there's so many things that we deal with. It may be something that somebody said to us as a child. You know, sometimes I speak to people and they're traumatized by something that happened when they were 5 years old and they're now 50. But because of that thing that happened at 5 years old, they are now not confident enough to set up a business or to take some steps towards making these goals and dreams a reality. So mindset is so very important. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to helping you with next week, because everybody can have a business. And I mean everybody. We have 5-year-olds out here that have businesses. Everybody can set up a business. So this week's task is different. So the last 2 weeks I gave you, I asked you to take 2 steps towards your goals and dreams. And I hope that you will continue to do that. I'm not going to set you that same task this week, but I did that for 2 weeks running in the hope that you would get into that mindset of setting yourself the task of taking 2 steps every week. So I may not be saying that to you this week, but I hope that within yourself, you will keep on to that. You will keep doing that. And every Sunday evening, you will set yourself 2 tasks to complete this week. They don't have to be big tasks. Like I said in our very first video, I mentioned that 2 steps could just be research. You know, if you want to start a fashion line, research somebody else that started a fashion line. How did they do it? Where can you get resources, information, support from? They are steps that you can take as well. So it doesn't have to be going out and buying a new fridge. It could be reading something that will help you in your business, okay? So I hope that you will continue to do that. But this week, the task that I'm setting you is from this business plan that we spoke about, which I'm going to post the link in the description of this video. Please download it and use that in your business. From the business plan, I really want you to focus on your business message, okay? Because it is so very important that you really fine-tune your business message. I should be able to come to you once you've started your business or even before and say to you, what is your business message? And you should know exactly what your business message is all about, okay? So, just to recap, within the business message, it's about what problem you're solving. It's about the results that your business is delivering and how your business is delivering those results. It's about who your business serves, your target audience. And it's also about what makes you different to your competitors, your unique selling points. And as I said last week, I know it can be really uncomfortable to feel like you're promoting yourself and you're bigging yourself up. Well, in business, that's just the way that it is, okay? So I really want you to focus on fine-tuning your business message. And hopefully next week when we come back here, next Sunday, same time, same place, I will be able to say, comment in the chat box, tell us what your business message is. And hopefully you'll be in a position where you can type that out so that everybody watching this will look and they will know, okay, Natasha said that she makes homemade chocolates and this is her business message. Gillette, whatever her business is, this is her business message. And that helps your clients, your customers to really identify with your brand. When we know what your business message is about, when we know what your business message is and what your business is all about. So that's your task for this week. Fine tune your business message and set yourself a goal. Okay, so the last thing that we spoke about in the business plan was about goals: 6-month goals, 1-year goals, and 5-year goals. You can decide which of the 3 you want to set yourself, but set yourself a goal, either a 6-month, 1-year, or 5-year goal. And next week when we come back, I really hope that you've completed those 2 tasks. It's not difficult, I promise. I can kind of feel a little bit of intimidation over the airwaves. Please don't be intimidated. All of this you will see in the end is for your own good. And every week that we keep doing this and you keep taking those steps, it will become easier and eventually you will get to where you want to get to in your business journey. Now, as I said, just as a reminder, this is a community. We are all here to support each other and to help each other on our individual business journeys. Our motto at High Heels and Hustle is a place where we grow our businesses and change our lives. And this is what we are all about. So in absence of no more messages, I will give you just a minute. If anybody else wants to type anything whilst we're still here, use me to answer any questions that you may have while I'm still here live. Natasha said, thanks, teacher. You are welcome. You are a good student. So yeah, I'll just give you another minute if anybody else wants to say anything, wants to ask anything, and then we will close down this session. It is really warm in here. I hope wherever you are watching from that you've had a really amazing day. I've had a great day. It's been a beautiful sunny Sunday here in the UK, so it's been absolutely lovely today. Okay, so looks like we don't have any more messages, which is absolutely fine. I just want to say to each and every one of you that are watching this video, thank you so much. I am so excited for your business journey. I'm so excited to see you get to that place where you really want to get you. And I believe that you can do it. And I really want you to believe in yourself as well. So join us here next Sunday, 7 p.m. UK time, where we are talking about mindset, because we are going to destroy every negative mindset that is stopping you from being the amazing businesswoman that I believe you can be. So thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you next week. Take care, stay safe. Please, as I always say, look after yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, in every capacity. Look after yourself, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. Bye.